What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Brooklyn Brewery, and they're out of Brooklyn, New York, and this is their Black Ops, the Four Roses Small Batch Edition, and this is the 2023 release. So they're calling this one a barrel-aged stout, aged in Four Roses Small Batch Bourbon barrels. It comes in at 12% alcohol by volume, 70 IBUs at the time of review. And this can is just over 3 months old. So this is the final shelfie beer that I'm reviewing for the month of January 2024. And it's been a long time since I've had Black Ops from Brooklyn. In fact, the first time I had it, I think, was back in 2013. And I've had a couple other ones. I think the last one I had was 2016. And ever since I think it was 2019, they switched over to the Four Roses small batch bourbon barrels for this release. Back when I had it for the first time, the whole thing that they kind of highlighted was the fact that they bottled it as opposed to putting it in cans, and they bottled it flat and then re-fermented it with champagne yeast. And I remember the first one I had was kind of off-putting. The champagne yeast kind of dominated. It was super carbonated. It was kind of an off flavor. And a couple other releases from them I didn't love. That it was fine, it was good, it was solid, but it wasn't anything amazing. Don't think they do that with this anymore, but I just thought I'd mention that because that's the memories I have of Black Ops. So yeah, anyway, we're going to crack this one open and get it into the glass and see what we got going on. I do want to say one thing though, and we'll see if it explodes here, but a longtime viewer of the channel, Rainier Parade, he did say that his can of the 2023 release was infected. Then I saw some Untapped friends, 2 or 3 of them, say the same thing. So I looked at the global check-ins on Untapped, and quite a few people saying their cans were infected. Let's hope that isn't the case here, because it'd make for a boring review and I'd be very disappointed. But, you gotta be honest with it. And I wanted to let you guys know, wow, when I first cracked that, the carbonation's crazy on this. We'll see if that translates into the glass. All right, so the carbonation isn't crazy, but it's kind of fizzing away like soda pop. So we'll give it a pour, something like that, okay? Then what we're gonna do is throw this over here, and off of that sheet, questionable. Anyway, so that looks beautiful. It poured out more of like a dark brown in person, or in the glass. It's definitely pitch black. In person, it's pitch black, but when it's pouring out, it's dark brown. Hold up to the light, yeah, it's pitch black. Just over a finger, maybe like a finger and a third of this really nice brown colored head. Looks kind of creamy, but also soap sudsy to some degree. Has decent alcohol legs on the sides of the glass. But yeah, that looks appropriate for what you're kind of looking for out of a barrel-aged Imperial Stout at 12%. Let's get a nose. I think this might be infected. First thing I get is vinegar. But it's a nice, like, red wine into balsamic vinegar. Here's the thing. I'll say this. I'm going to review this even if it is infected, because I've actually had infected stouts, infected barrel-aged stouts, infected Imperial Stouts that I've enjoyed. They've tasted nothing like they were supposed to, but they were still pretty tasty in general, right? So you'd have to get like 2 ratings. Like, for what they're going for, it's like a 0 out of 5, and then what you're tasting, it's whatever, right? So I'm going to review this, but off the rip, it definitely, and I've had straight up sour Imperial Stouts before, like an actual style where, they purposely soured the Imperial Stout or the barrel-aged Imperial Stout. And that's kind of what this smells like. There's underlying like rich chocolate kind of notes, vanilla from the barrel oak, but then there's this like balsamic red wine vinegar that's definitely out of place, but it doesn't smell too bad because I like those notes. I also forgot, I'll just read the back here because I saw it and I'm not going to bullshit you. It says, Black Ops is a mythical Imperial Stout aged in Four Roses small batch bourbon barrels for notes of decadent cocoa nibs and rich oak. And then it says other tasting notes, cacao, vanilla, and oak. Very generic, but I saw it on the side of the can. I read it and I'm not going to be like, oh, I didn't see that. And it's generic, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, cocoa, vanilla, oak, sure. Or cacao, vanilla, oak, yeah, sure. But I don't see anything that says balsamic vinegar, like red wine vinegar, or sourness, or tartness. Yeah, it smells like a barrel-aged Imperial Stout that went a little bit sideways, because I feel it did. It doesn't smell bad, but it doesn't smell what it's supposed to be. Plain and simple. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. So the taste is a little bit better, but it's definitely somewhat infected. Something went sideways here for this batch. There is a distinct, more of like a balsamic vinegar on the finish. But I'll tell you what, I get toasted coconut, and I like that. Buying this is absurdly thin for 12%. This is like maybe a bit over medium body. That's like, for 12%, that's crazy thin. I anticipate this probably being a bit thin because of the barrel aging, but like up front, it's probably like higher side of medium, lower side of full. But as you finish the sip, it really thins out on the back end. So body's disappointing. Mouthfeel, it's way more carbonated than it should be. And that's kind of the issue I had with the old school Black Ops. Again, that champagne yeast, whatever it was doing, super carbonated when I had it. And this is kind of the same way. This is like moderately to full-on carbonated, like somewhere in the middle of there. So it's spritzy on the tongue, and after each sip, it kind of washes away the flavors of like the first half of the palate, which kind of sucks because those are the flavors that you actually want from this beer and not the finish. So body mouthfeel disappointing. The taste, I don't mind the taste. Like the taste is all right. Forefront, there is roasted malt. There's definitely chocolate. They say rich, decadent, like cocoa nibs or cacao nibs. I'd say like more of like a sweeter dark chocolate. There's a little bit of coffee and molasses, a little touch of dark fruits, maybe like a black cherry. As it passes through, the barrel hits, and again, it's that toasted coconut. That's the best part of this beer, is midway through the palate, I get toasted coconut, and I really do enjoy that because I love coconut in general. A little bit of vanilla and oak for sure. But then the last, quarter of the finish, that's where the infection kind of takes hold. It's like tart into like sour, like fruit, like cherries. And then it turns into that like balsamic red wine, almost apple cider vinegar. It's just very vinegary, but not like a white vinegar, but like something with substance, but it definitely shouldn't be there. And yeah, I'm left with this like, not straight on sour, it's more tart, like a tart acidic finish. I'm getting a little bit of heartburn in the chest, honestly, from it. 12%, it hides it relatively well. There's a warming in the chest, but nothing on the palate. Like palate-wise, I would guess this is under 10% from the body and the fact that I don't really taste any alcohol, but the chest would indicate otherwise. I really don't want to drink more of this. Reason I want to drink more of this is because I can already feel like heartburn and acid reflux starting because of the tartness and the acidity. And the fact that I was hoping I was getting a tasty barrel-aged Imperial Stout that has definitely went awry. This is infected. Shout out to Rainier Parade for mentioning it when I did the vlog for the Shelfie beers for this month. He was like, yeah, no, he's like, my can was infected and it seems like other people's cans are infected. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll see if mine is. It is. Yeah, it sucks. And the price point on this was not cheap. So it kind of sucks to just ruin a beer like this, but is what it is, I guess, right? I've had a pretty good track record as far as beers that are infected on the channel. I've only had a handful, and I've reviewed almost 2,000 beers. So, yeah, this is disappointing, obviously. I'm just gonna give it one rating, just because. I will say this: if I had to drink this beer, I probably could. Okay, I probably could. It's not that off-putting. I've had, again, I mentioned earlier, I've had sour Imperial Stouts, sour barrel-aged Imperial Stouts before that I've actually enjoyed purposely soured. And this kind of tastes like those, but considering what I'm hoping this beer to be, it doesn't say anything about being, a sour or a tart barrel-aged Imperial Stout. It's disheartening. So I'm going to give this a substantially low rating based on what they're going for and based on the fact that I'm not going to finish this. This will be a drain pour, and I'm not enjoying it. So Black Ops, the Four Roses Small Batch Edition, the 2023 release, I'm going to give that a 1.75 out of 5. One of the lowest rated beers on my channel in a hot minute, but, it's infected, and it's, again, I don't hate it. I just don't want to drink it, and on top of that, like, I can already feel heartburn starting, and that pisses me off because I never drink barrel-aged Imperial Stouts and think about getting heartburn or acid reflux because there's going to be a sour or tart note. Yet here we are with this one. So it's very unfortunate that this isn't affected. I'm going to have to, probably let my bottle shop know that this one is infected. I don't know if anyone ever came back to the store and told them, but I'm going to let them know. I think I need to. Anyway, price point availability. This was like $18 a 4-pack at my store. I think I paid like almost $5 for that can. Fuck no, not for what I'm drinking. Now, if this was akin to the older releases of Black Ops, I still probably wouldn't pay that. Only because, again, I didn't love those. I thought they were solid and decent. It's just the champagne use was weird. This, though, being, sideways infected, no, I definitely wouldn't pay that. I would say check it out if you can get in a non-infected can, but how do you know that until you drink it, right? So, and availability is Brooklyn. They probably have a beer finder on their website. I reviewed this as a shelfie beer because this is the definition of a shelfie beer here in my area. There's like 3 different places I can get this right off the shelf, and they've been there for, since they released it. As you can tell, I'm disappointed. And I usually am disappointed when I have a beer that is disappointing or infected like this, and it rarely happens, but it is what it is. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more. So if you've had this one before, or you had the 2023 release, was your can infected? And did you enjoy it if it wasn't? I would love to try this if it isn't affected. So maybe next year I'll re-review it, the 2024 release, and hope that's not affected. Now, I will say one of the things to be a longer review. I don't give a shit at this point. This does say brewed by Brooklyn Brewery, Brooklyn, New York, and Utica, New York. Pretty sure FX Matt brews a lot of their beers now. Probably a lot of their go-tos like the Brooklyn Lager and whatnot. It's if they had an issue with the barrels, hence the reason it's infected. I would have hoped that they would have contacted maybe some of the if not the bottle shops, but I'm so frazzled right now. I can't the distributors and say, hey, maybe pull those from distribution or tell certain bottle shops to take them off the shelf because people shouldn't be paying $4 to $5 a can for something that they know is infected. At this point, if you just go to Untapped, you see a lot of people who say it. Some people don't. So some people are getting okay cans, but it's a crapshoot at this point. So very disappointed in this beer and in general with this review. So it is what it is. But anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Thanks for the heads up, Rainier Parade, and all my Untapped friends. Like I said, I always take into consideration what folks say about it. I try not to have preconceived notions going in a review, but when I see something like that where someone says it's infected or multiple people, it's in the back of my head, and I'm like, all right, we'll see. This is definitely infected, 100%, and that's a bummer. Anyway, appreciate it. To the next one. Did I say 12%? Drinks like it's under 10, but I don't really want to drink it. So I'll take one more sip here because I'm a trooper at the end. And you got to take a sip because that's what I do, but I'm not looking forward to it. Cheers. Delicious.